Welcome to a new episode of Morgana Radio, where I, your host, Morgana Ray, interview the world's most fascinating thought leaders on money, love, and magic. And today's guest is not only a big celebrity in the personal development world, but he's also one of my favorite people, a close personal friend. He will be at my birthday party, right? And no pressure. And he starred in The Secret. And he let me just tell you about our guest, Bob Doyle. So Bob is best known for his work as one of the featured teachers from the film and book The Secret. And he has been teaching law of attraction principles for over a decade with a focus on the practical science and implementation of the law of attraction. He's authored 2 best-selling books on the subject, and he's been featured in numerous other film projects and books as well. Bob's most passionate message is one of self-expression and being who you truly are. And Bob is a living example of following your passions and playing full out without apology. He inspires people to reconnect with their sense of passion and create a vision that is truly inspiring, and then provides the tool set to allow them to actually realize that vision. And the topic of today's interview is the vision blueprint. But before we dive into that, now we don't have any script or prefab questions. We're just going to have a conversation here. But before we dive into this true vision blueprint, I have a question that I've been wanting to ask you for a long time, Bob.
Let's have it.
Okay.
Yes, I'll come to your birthday party. Is that the question? For crying out loud.
But the other question is,
okay.
Is the law of attraction dead? I mean, is it a hoax? The world is full of people talking law of attraction who are poor and single and unhappy. And what the heck is going on with that, huh?
Yeah. Awesome question. Shortly after The Secret came out, I did a video because I kind of saw where it was going, where it was probably going to go. It was probably going to fall into the fad category. It was probably going to fall into the I tried it, it didn't work category, because right after The Secret came out, all these people in the personal development industry said, money, and so they created these half-assed law of attraction programs, basically regurgitating what they saw in The Secret maybe, or what they'd read somewhere else. Oh, it's this simple 1, 2, 3-step process, and that's all there is to it. So, of course, people say, well, that sounds really good. So they spend their money on these things. They don't get the results because nobody's addressing what's really going on with the law of attraction and what it really is. They've turned it into some sort of magic wand personal development tool. When we're talking about a principle of physics, we're talking about our universe, something really, really freaking huge and complicated, that us attracting things into our lives is just one small little piece of what the law of attraction allows us to do, but it's not what it's about. So a lot of what happened was people just got a completely wrong idea of what it was. They tried all these crazy stuff. They tried to use it to cause problems, and they just didn't understand what they were dealing with. And since they didn't get instant results, they said, I see, it's just another fad money-making scheme. But so the conversation of the law of attraction has been beaten up a good bit. There's no question about that. But is the law of attraction dead? No. Well, our universe still seems to be intact, so something is holding it together. So I'm going to say it's still in order. But, we as human beings have really put it through this Rube Goldberg thing, and it's just crazy and twisted. And so my goal has always been, whoa, as magical and woo-woo as it sounds, and it can appear, which is cool and fun, and I like it, there is science behind it. And when you get that, you don't have to be a freaking physicist. You just a basic sort of, I see, so that you can allow it to work for you instead of going, is it going to work? I don't think it's going to work. That kind of stuff.
So, and by the way, listeners on iTunes, you really want to check out the video of this interview. It's also being videoed too, and you can catch the video at morganaradio.com because it's just fun to watch Bob when he gets excited and don't flail around. But so what I want to ask you next is, you brought up people, what they think the law of attraction is, but it isn't. So what do people think is that it isn't?
Okay, well, I think they think that, what they've been told. Let's go over what they've been told. What they've been told, well, is a variety of things. But the simplest thing they've been told is things along the lines of, like attracts like. What you focus on expands, and do a vision board and magic happens. That kind of that overgeneralization of stuff, and so they do those things. But I'm going to say that most of the people who try the law of attraction after seeing The Secret or hearing about it from a friend, right? They just take it on face value. They go, well, I'm going to do these things, but their mind is going, is this going to work? They got a lot of energy flowing around doubt and worry, and I need this to work. Oh my God, thank God this came along, because I've got all these problems that need solving, and they don't, because no one's telling them that all that fear and worry and all of that, the approach to it is permeating the vibration that you're trying to put out with all of these techniques and things, telling the universe, I'm in trouble. And the universe, not being a judge, it just responding to whatever energy you're putting out, is just saying, okay, well, I guess you've got these problems, right? Because that's what you're in alignment with. You're telling the universe, I'm trying to use the law of attraction to solve these problems. So you're acknowledging the problems with everything you put out there, instead of focusing on the vision. What's the good stuff? Stop looking at the bad stuff you want changed. I mean, you look at it once or twice to go, okay, I'm very clear. This ain't it. This ain't what I want. So that should be the launching point for building a vision, so that this is where you put your attention. This is where your emotions are and all of that. So the universe can respond to that instead of this constant conversation you're having about all the problems you're experiencing.
So, and I'm saying this because I receive emails like this a lot. So let's say somebody is living in her car and has medical problems and real issues. And so you can't ignore what's going on, but how would you help somebody who really is in it and really being challenged daily, maybe in physical pain, maybe dangerous situations? How do you use the law of attraction when what you've already attracted is kind of crappy?
Yeah. So with those types of people, like that situation, you have to be very gentle with these folks. You can't have a conversation with them that basically is going to make them think that they did this to themselves, there's something wrong with them, that it's their fault, that kind of thing. Because most of us are cruising along, attracting our experience of reality on autopilot. Most people probably aren't being very intentional about it, but they are sending out vibrations. They are saying, this is what's true for me, by just looking at it, feeling it 24/7. So with a person like that, first of all, they're going to need more than just, here's what the law of attraction is. Good luck. They need serious support.
Yeah.
They've got health issues. Those need to be tended to. They need to know that something is being done. They're not going to leap to magical thinking. And if they do, they're doomed to failure on it. Like, oh, okay, well, I'll just do this. So they're going to need support. They're going to need guidance from somebody who's willing to spend the time with them to find out, how did they get there? So that they can see what decisions did they make, what belief systems did they have, so that we know, okay, well, these are the areas that need changing. And then, finding out, well, what do you want your life to be? Who are you really? And of course they'll say, I want to get out of my car. I want my money. I want this. That's great. So let them say all that. But then it's really, who do you want to be? Who is it inside of you that is dying to get out? What dream died when and why? And let's rekindle that and show you, so we have to change their overall vibration. And that's going to take some time and some gentle loving and coaxing. You can't just throw a book or a movie at them and go, there's your answers right there. We have to deal with.
Give me a lot of money.
That's right. Just do it here. Find a magazine on the street and make a vision board, and your problems will be solved. So that's the thing, though. Humanity is where it is because of generation after generation of limited thinking and beliefs and people trying to control everybody. So here we are. We've got a whole population of adults with wacky, limited thinking, disconnected from their sense of passion. They spent tens of thousands of dollars on education to go do a career that they're now completely disenchanted with, 5 years in, and they're going, what happened? Our system is what happened. So, you know, we're setting everybody up for this. Let's go to you can play, have the first 3 years of your life, play and be happy. Now then we're going to send you to school, and now we're going to kind of put you down this path. And this is how it can begin. You know, we disconnect people from their passion and so on. So all of that to say that we create all of these programs of limitation, what's possible, what's not possible, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Virtually none of it really true, because the truth comes from, you know, of the situation. We determine that. So if we just believe that's true, that limited thought is true, you're right, I can't do this, my mother said it's too much, I won't. We just have to unravel that. That's the only thing that's really stopping people. There's no truth to you can't do it, except for the fact that you've created this energetic environment that says, well, I am going to push away any kind of success until I change the beliefs that I can have it or whatever. So there's just work to do.
How has that been true in your life?
Wow, so many things. So I was on this great coast, right? Like when I had my aha moment around the law of attraction back in 2000, like I so got it that I was able to create, you know, a really new reality for myself pretty quickly. And I was able to change. And so I got excited and I started teaching and all of those things. The secret happened 3 years after that, right? And that was a pretty big, huge thing for me. And certainly more exposure than I'd ever gotten. My business changed and people came from everywhere, you know, to say, hey, you know, I'd like to work with you and support you and do all this stuff. And I thought, well, I guess I'm a real business now, so I'll just listen to them. So I stopped doing things based on how I really wanted to do them, because I started inheriting other beliefs, you know, like, well, this is how you do it when you reach this level. This is how you do it when you reach this level. And that was the beginning of a really tumultuous period of time where and then a recession hit and everything kind of happened at one time. But it really, I think it started when I started to disconnect from how I built the business in the first place and who I was in that conversation. While I never really wanted to step into Bob Doyle, the guru, I never wanted that. But I was making business decisions as if I was that person. And it never really set right with me. So that was one thing that bumped me and where I came face to face with, oh, wow, there's still stuff going on. And then when I got divorced. So when I got divorced 5 years ago, 3, 4, anyway, it's a while back, it just wrecked my world, right? Like, because my sense of value and self-worth and feelings, I mean, it just, you know, everything just crumbled. And so I had a lot of getting back on my path, reevaluating, reassessing. And this is life, my friends. It's a wave. And you go to the top, you don't always just stay there. I was just talking about this the other day. You know, the goal, it's always going to be cyclical. So the idea is so there's this line here where you're just barely getting by, and then there's this, oh my God, right? Well, so if you just live here on the line or a little bit above, when you go low, it's going to be, oh my God. The idea is, let's create those here. So here's, oh my God, you're going to be cyclical, but let's be cyclical up here. So that when you have a dip, it's just a dip. You still got all this wiggle room, right? Mm-hmm. But you can have your cycle up here. But that's.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was about to ask, what have you learned to make the lows not so low? And so those of you not watching the video, he's just showing that the waves get higher and higher, so that when you go down, you're still way above the baseline where you began.
Right. That, oh my God part. But all of it starts with, truly, I think one of the things that's been reignited in me about this is I did spend most of my career focusing on the science, right? Techniques, things like that. But as I've watched how the law of attraction has evolved and how people respond and get results or not, and then of course coaching countless people, I'm really realizing that, and certainly looking out in the world, there's plenty of successful people who never even heard of law of attraction. You don't need to know this to be successful, but what they have is a strong vision. They know why they're doing what they're doing. They're honoring who they are. They're playing big out in the world. They're putting out their maximum value, and of course, the universe reciprocates. So, for some of us who can't naturally seem to do that, an understanding of the law of attraction can help you, because now you have an understanding of, why does this happen to me, right? If you're willing to be super honest, that's the other thing about the law of attraction work in general. If you're not willing to be wildly honest with yourself about what you believe and what you don't, you're not going to get results. You can't BS yourself. You certainly can't BS the universe. So walking around talking law of attraction, da, 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 while inside you're living in fear and panic and all of that, and not really still stepping into fully who you really are, and looking at it like, well, one day when I get this money, I will be this person, or whatever it is you're trying to attract. Like, I need this thing and then I'll be this. And it absolutely is the other way around. You must step into being this person first, so that your energy is in alignment. It's right, because your energy the other way is one day. Well, then it will be one day. But if you
And what I've seen is the problems you have before you have money become bigger when you have money, because you bring yourself along.
Yes, you bring yourself along. And that is and that's the thing that people skip when they learn about the law of attraction. This is what they have to work on first. They have to get clear on, okay, I can create whatever future I truly desire. That's what they're telling me. So what do I truly desire, and why? Because otherwise, it's like, what do I desire? Well, I don't want my debt, so I want $1 million. I want a big house by the ocean, and all the stuff that we've been told is success. But if they don't check in with like, well, but why? Why is that important to me? How does that allow me to fulfill my destiny here on this planet? How will this give me the ability to provide maximum value to the world while loving my life, living a life of passion? So if I'm chasing the stuff, why am I doing it? So it's really, you got to and it's hard for people to hear this because they want to solve their freaking problems and they think money or whatever is the answer, and trying to get them to see this bigger picture. That's kind of the tough part. But once they understand, again, how the law of attraction really works, then I see why I must stop looking over here and instead get really clear on my vision. And who am I in this vision? Not just what do I have, but who am I in this?
So what exactly is a vision blueprint?
Well, it's just the method for achieving your vision, because a lot of people don't know. Or they've cut themselves off from it. I'm sure you've heard it too. All these people say, I don't even know what I'm passionate about, right? Like, I don't even know anymore. But at one time, I'm going to say that you did know. And it could have been even when you were a child. There was something that lit you up. There was something that you were being pulled to. But something, someone, some belief, some comment, something made you think, I can't have that. I can't be that.
There was a little audio wiggle there. So I think you said, people say, I don't even know what I'm passionate about.
That's right. Right. So yes, people will say, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't even know what I want, that type of stuff. Those are the people who have been beaten down by their circumstances so long that they figure, why even allow myself to dream? It's not going to happen. And so if you can't dream, then you're not going to, the law of attraction is responding to your overall vibration. If you want to change something, you have to, if you want your circumstances to change, you have to emanate the new communication. You have to send that vision out. So you have to be clear what that is. And that whole thing about, I don't know what I'm passionate about. See, that's your ego's way of going, see, all I have to do is give them that thought and nothing will change, because the ego just wants it the way it is. It just don't change, even to your detriment. Although it's telling you this is the safe way. You don't want to fail, do you? You don't want to look like an idiot, do you? Right? So that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to say, you don't even know what you want. Just keep going to your job, get your freaking paycheck. You'll be fine. So it's not, I think everybody probably can. I know they can. They can tap into what they're passionate about. They can tap into their sense of destiny, but they have to, again, be gently assisted there by somebody who can provide that safe space, because between a person and their disconnect of that passion is probably some emotional something going on. Like, it might sting a little when you go, why did that happen? And then so there might be some emotion, but there's your freedom. You have to be able to move through that. Okay, this is the trauma or whatever. I'm not saying you have to. It doesn't have to be an exercise in reliving trauma. But I'm saying that if you are feeling disconnected from what you're even about, there's probably something that occurred in your life that does have some emotion tied to it, to change your belief systems and to cut yourself off from yourself in such a big way, so that as an adult, you don't even know what you want anymore. So
people are not fools. If you're, people have very good reasons for protecting themselves from what they want. Now, I know we only have a half hour, and I really want to like get as much into this as possible. And those of you listening and watching, don't stress out, because Bob has a super amazing gift for free to take you deeper than we have time here. Nonetheless, I'm going to like hit the gas now. Sorry, Bob. You said that a vision blueprint is a method. So can you walk us through the methods?
Well, basically, it's going to be that we have to kind of check in. The person has to sort of self-assess. Where am I with relation to what I want? Do I know or do I not know? You know, because if they have at least an idea, then we have a starting point. You know, the whole process of creating a vision is generally done, it should be done probably in layers. Because when you ask a person, okay, I want you to think as wild and crazy as you can, they're still going to play safe. They're still going to write down something fairly small for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, because they just can't allow themselves to expand. And so a lot of times it's just this process of, like when I'm working with a one-on-one a client, which I don't do really anymore that much, but when I did, I would say, right before even first meeting, what's your version of your vision now, right? And so during the course of our relationship together, we see that vision expand and expand and expand because you try it on energetically, your ego screams at you, that'll never happen. But then you keep visualizing it, you keep playing with it, you keep trying it on, and you go, it feels a little bit more comfortable. You slowly but surely expand that comfort zone of your vision, you know, and say, okay, well, that would feel pretty good. That would feel pretty good. And you just keep doing that, you know, thinking like if you've got something that you want, think of something way, way bigger, like really stretch so that the thing you really want or feel like you need doesn't even seem like that big. That's truly how it works, but we have to start at some point. So if I've got a person who's like absolutely stuck, I have no idea what I want to do. I have no idea what I'm passionate about. We just go back to childhood. What did you like to do when you were a kid? You know, because people are like, but that I'm not going to be a fireman. That's not what it was. It's really about going back and saying, what is it about that thing you loved when you were a kid that is really the essence of it? Maybe it's just you like to help people. Maybe it's just like you know, there's a certain aspects, like kids who want to be a baseball player, but maybe physically aren't going to do that. But maybe just being around the sport, maybe there's something, you know, that they can still live their passion. So it's just that massaging of their tense little visualization muscles, you know, just come on, relax, just play with it. Again, with support, giving them some sort of a safe space, because people, I know for a fact, people who are really stuck, they will not be able to do this by themselves because their ego screams louder than their consciousness. And so they're going to get stuck right away and they have no tools or support, nobody to go, come on, let's just keep playing with it. You know, so some sort of, whether it's support in a program form or a community form or a coaching form, you know, something for those really stuck people, because there really is this, I think that a lot of people post-Secret got this idea that the law of attraction is this one-man wizardry show. Here's your magic wand. You don't need anybody else. You got this. And so people were thinking, well, if I can't do this myself, then it's not working or whatever. There's 7 billion people on the planet. We're here to help each other and support each other. We all have our gifts and such. And so we put ourselves out there, we share our vision with the world, and there's parts of it that we don't know how to do, don't want to do, or whatever. As long as we're sharing it authentically and filled with passion, we're going to attract the people who say, oh, that's the hole I want to fill in that vision and make it happen. So the whole idea that you as the individual have to have all the answers is another thing that people have got in their head. Like, it's this law of attraction isn't working if I need help. That's seriously a thought that people are having. It's like, no. We're all, like, every community I have ever formed, and I've formed a lot around this conversation about creating your reality in various forms. The community is that's the breakthrough. You know, when someone posts and say, I'm struggling with this, and another person says, I did too, and here's how I got through it. You know, just that, you can get through this, and then just the energy and the group energy and all of that. So with everything I do, I provide some kind of community, because, you know, you got to have it.
Oh, it's magical. I think Buckminster Fuller, the amazing 20th century philosopher, physicist, said that environment is stronger than willpower. So you create an environment. Like, part of all of our bad choices came from environmental issues.
Right.
Yeah. So we need to change the environment, change the people who are mirroring us back to us to like raise our game.
Yeah, I think overall, the biggest thing is that people look at the law of attraction as this quick fix, and it can be a lot quicker than other ways for sure, but it's not overnight necessarily for most people because there's a lot going on in here. There's a lot of energy that is working against us, and it's a process, to change that stuff. It's totally worth doing. It's the best investment you can ever make to get this reality creation machine that we're all born with working properly, so that it's not just chaotically bringing us stuff that are, that are based on fears and worries, but that we actually get to be very intentional.
But what makes it happen faster? Because I know you talk about that.
Well, it's just the intensity with which, you're sending the vibration, the consistency. How strong is this vibration? How consistent is it? How often do you start a positive vibration and then suddenly go, but it'll never happen? Or where is it? I've been doing this for a whole week now, and my dreams haven't come true. So it's really just the more you trust the process and the more you enjoy the process, and really understanding that the happiness doesn't have to wait until you get the thing. Ideally, you should be doing something to get the thing that's bringing you joy just from the doing of it, whether or not it makes you the money or not. So, you really have to honor your passions and not make it contingent on, I will only do my passions if I get a paycheck for it. Because, well, that's so limiting on the resistance that you've set up there is so huge. Well, I can't do what I want to do unless I get money for it. Well, that's crazy. So what are you doing for money now? Something you don't want to do. Where's the logic? So.
Oh yeah. And making your passion for hire is such an easy way to like drain out the passion too, when you intentionally make it a job like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It many, many times as a musician, I've run into that where I love to write music. And then someone will say, I need you to write me 60 seconds that does this. I'm like, ah! It's not the same as the free flowing, and now it's a job that I got to complete. And so, I really just tell people that if they have a passion, they should just be doing it, whether or not they're making the money, and whatever time they can. And if their vision is that this passion is their source of income, great, just keep having that passion, but you got to do it. You can't tell the universe, I'll do my passion when I get the money from doing my passion.
Well, because that makes money the bad guy who is keeping you from doing your passion. And that's going to be really attractive to money, isn't it? So
right.
I've heard you talk about the desire behind the desire. What is that? What does that mean?
Well, so we have these default desires. Like I said, you hear about the law of attraction. Oh, I desire $1 million. So what's the desire behind that desire? Why do you need $1 million? And most of the time, you don't need $1 million. You need resources. You could use some assistance in this area or the right introduction. What's the real desire here? I want the $1 million so that I can, right? That's the desire. What you want is to be able to do whatever that you think you're going to do with it. So what's really driving the desire that you have? And so that's what's really, really key to know. Again, it's all about knowing why you're doing this so that the ego doesn't have anything to work with. If you're clear, I'm doing this for this, and you get to that, why must I do this? Like, I must do this. The ego's little voice doesn't have nearly as much power. It's just this familiar, irritating, okay, I remember you, but we're way past that now. I must do this. So you just stay in action. And if you stay in action, eventually you're going to get there. But enjoy the action. That's the thing. I really believe that you should be having fun. Yes, it may be some work and all of that, and you may run into comfort zone expansion issues that feel a little uncomfortable. But for the most part, the process should feel like an expansion, that you really are tapping into your greatness and your value, and that whether or not you're getting your money right then, you're still putting out tremendous value, and that's what you should be doing.
Well, what I'm hearing is a lot of self-love and a lot of self-trust in this process.
Thank you for saying that. Because the self-love, you and I have had a conversation around self-love and self-healing and how important that step is. If you are berating yourself and feel like you don't deserve, and you treat, you treat yourself poorly with, no exercise or what you eat or drink or whatever like that, what are you telling the universe about your value and your worth? I want all this stuff, but I'm going to
kill myself.
Right. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to abuse myself. Right.
Yeah.
So it's again, it's all about that consistency and being willing to be honest. Yes, I'm having these thoughts. Yes,
With
I have
love.
these beliefs. Yes. And understanding, not beating yourself up. Like, my gosh, after the divorce and things started going spirally, I mean, the ability to beat myself up over things was right there and huge, So, but you have to, and boy, did I need support then. I mean, if I had gone through that process and said, I got this, I wouldn't have had it at all. And you and I probably wouldn't be talking right now. So, it's really just going, you know what, I'm struggling. I, Bob Doyle from The Secret, am really struggling, and I need some support. I need somebody to see something in me that I'm not seeing right now, and it happens to us all. I don't care how elevated in any industry you are. We all go through the cycles. Right.
And now you're back in the up with an amazing relationship, amazing business, living over the water. Things are looking pretty good.
And I'm having fun. I've really, 2016 was huge for me. I eliminated alcohol, which if anybody's done that, that's kind of like that's a nice thing. And I really got focused on, I'm not going to do things I don't want to do anymore, and stop making excuses for, well, just this once because, right. And does that come with challenges? Hell yes, it comes with challenges. It comes with lots of challenges and a little bit of worry and fear, but the support and the drive and knowing why I'm doing it, I've got the rest of my life. I'm not going to compromise anymore. And I'll take whatever beating I have to get where I have to go, and learn what I need to learn and meet who I need to meet, because I know why I'm doing it. And none of the other stuff is important enough to make me go back to what I was doing before.
So we're running out of time here, because, you and I could talk forever. You have a gift because you have a program and you have a system to help people, come out of the bottom and come back into creativity and passion and manifestation. And we were only able to kind of like skip along the surface, although I think we got to some really juicy stuff. So I think you have a master class.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that and what people get that we didn't cover here?
Well, so the master class, you can kind of look at it as my sort of reset button for people, because the conversation, as you and I have discussed, it's kind of gone all over the place. It's veered from what is it really to it'd be cool if it was this. Wouldn't it be awesome if it worked like this? And it's not to discourage people. It's better the way it really works than the crazy ass way that you were told, because that's, well, for lots of reasons. So the master class is a regrouping. It's like, look, maybe you've never heard of the law of attraction. Maybe you've played with it and it didn't work for you. Maybe you're angry at it. Maybe whatever your situation is. This is let's regroup and like take another look at, here's what it is. Here's how simple it can be. Here's what really drives the results, more than like magical techniques or things like that. What they'll get at the masterclass they didn't get here is walking through the process. More notes to take, if you will, more actionable items. Because what you and I have talked about is, here's what the problem is. Mm-hmm. And the masterclass is, here's steps to deal with it.
Okay. Yeah. And so, basically this is what the law of attraction looks like when it actually works.
Yeah. And it may be very different than you've been told, but I think that, you go to the masterclass and you listen to that, it will make sense. I mean, I'm committed to making sense. So I want people to understand where I'm coming from, so that's why I talk so long.
Yeah. So this is a totally free class. Yeah. The link is, if you are catching this on iTunes or on YouTube, the link is posted at morganaradio.com. Just search for Bob Doyle or The Secret and he'll show up. And before we sign off, can you just give us a nibble? What is one actionable step that you include in your masterclass?
Let's see. So, well, intuition is a big piece of this puzzle, and knowing how to follow your intuition or hear it or act on it if you've never done it before is a big, huge freaking question mark for people. you know. And so one of the things we talk about in there is ways to learn to hear your intuition. And honestly, a lot of it is just playing with it. I mean, when I started this whole path, and I knew about intuition, and I knew that it was how I was going to basically receive communication from the universe, I was like, but what does that feel like? How do I know? How do I know it's not just some crazy ass thought I'm having in my head, right? So the way that I approached it was, well, I am now going to make a commitment to stop relying on my intellect or the resources I have up here, because it's clearly not working, you know, and I'm going to get really clear on what my vision is and why. So I took that fundamental step, like, who am I in this future that I'm creating? What am I doing? What's my career? The whole thing, created that vision. And then I just told myself, now I'm going to be on the lookout for unusual things that are not normal, like conversations or people or incidents or ideas or whatever that aren't indicative of my normal logical thinking, you know, that feel outside of, wait a minute, I think this is. So in my case, it started with a conversation with somebody about angels, which I'm not an angel person per se or anything like that, but it was an intriguing enough conversation that later I was like, well, that kind of came out of nowhere. Let's just keep having this conversation. And so it led me through this whole long path that I could go on and on about angel, which led me to this one particular place, which had me introduced to this person who eventually led me to the resources I needed around the quantum physics of what this is all about, that turned on my lights, that the piece I needed, that to go, I see, it's not magic. And so that was really key. And it was just shortly after that I started teaching this stuff, and the rest is history. So we just talk about various ways to kind of be on the lookout for that all important intuition, because you're always connected with it, but a lot of times people are blocked it out or don't hear it or discount what they're hearing or experiencing as, not related or random.
But it will always be your best source of information.
Yeah. If you trust it.
Yep. Yay. Well, thank you so much, Bob. Always a pleasure.
Yes.
Be sure to, everybody listening and watching, take advantage of this unique free masterclass where he will walk you through all the steps. And so that concludes our interview today. Namaste.